An island where faith meets the sea, where coral remembers the touch of belief. Each tide whispers the call to prayer, in stone and salt time still bows. Upon that sacred ground rose old Friday Masjid, coral stone structure carved by time and belief.
The Sultan of the Maldives, he wanted to build a new mosque. So he gathered all the talent and skills and all the resources available back then, and then he built the mosque that we see.
From the heart of the Indian Ocean, the Maldives, a chain of coral islands once linked to the world through wind, tide, and trade, archaeological findings reveal Maldivian cowrie shells traveling far to the Indus Valley and even ancient China. It was once used as currency and ornaments. This shows that the Maldives was not isolated, but part of an active trade network, a place where life was organized, connected, and thriving. Temples rose across the atolls, their ancient beliefs endured, worships of goddesses and spirits from older Dravidian traditions. By the 8th century, Bengal's influence appeared, Vajrayana Buddhist symbols carved in stone, a trace of the island's early spiritual world. Then came the 12th century. A Moroccan traveler, Abu al-Barakat Yusuf al-Barbari, arrived upon these shores. Moved by the miracle, King Dovemi embraced Islam, taking the name Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He then ordered the temples replaced with mosques, and in 1153 CE, the Maldives became a Muslim nation.
Like I said in my lecture, Islam was introduced in 1153. Since then, we are a 100% Muslim country.
Malé, the beating heart of the Maldives, situated on Malé Atoll, about 645 kilometers southwest of Sri Lanka, this island capital is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. Over 200,000 residents live within just 9 square kilometers of land. Malé stands as the political, economic, and cultural center of the nation, home to the presidential palace, government offices, bustling markets, also big and tall landmarks that carry the soul of Maldivian history.
This is why after all these years, it is still regarded as the eminent building in this country. You know, they have skyscrapers and all that. Not skyscrapers, tall buildings.
Historically, Malé was once a fortified royal city, protected by strong walls and fortresses, a seat of ancient dynasties that once ruled the Maldives. However, with the abolition of the monarchy in 1968, President Ibrahim Nasir led a bold remodeling of the city, and the old fortifications were torn down to make way for a new modern era. Still, the echoes of history remain. Amid the city's narrow streets stands the Hukuru Miskiy, the old Friday Masjid, a timeless monument built from coral stone, and one of the most sacred symbols of Maldivian heritage. Today, Malé remains the spiritual and cultural heart of the Maldives, a guardian of Islamic tradition and the gateway through which faith and history first flowed across these islands. A city where the past and present meet, forever surrounded by the sea. The culture of Maldives is shaped by the island's unique landscape, deep history, and enduring Islamic legacy. Music and dance bring people together. The rhythmic beat of Badu Beru and the graceful Bandia Jehun echo through weddings and festivals, celebrating unity and joy. From delicate lacquer work and woven mats to dishes like mashuni and garudia, Maldivian craftsmanship and cuisine reflect both simplicity and creativity drawn from the sea and the land. Traditional garments such as divehi libas and mundu are still proudly worn, connecting generations through heritage. Language, poetry, and games like Baibala and Bashi keep the spirit of community alive, blending play, art, and storytelling. Here in the Maldives, the old and the new coexist harmoniously, a culture rooted in faith, shaped by the ocean, and carried proudly into the future. Culture of Malé. Though modernization moves quickly, faith remains at the heart of Maldivian life, guiding law, education, architecture, and traditions that define the nation's soul. Malé, a city where life flows through every narrow street, every smile, every shared moment connecting people together. Even the smallest things are celebrated. From a new film release to a street performance, the people of Malé turn ordinary days into moments of joy. The spirit of togetherness thrives here. Youngsters fill the day with football and carom games, their voices and support echoing through the city. Elders too stay active. Each morning, many gather at the artificial beach, keeping their bodies and hearts strong. Trade and tradition move hand in hand. From fruits to marine goods, the people of Malé share the island's blessings with the world. However, when the call to prayer echoes, everything pauses. Shops close, voices soften, and the city breathes in peace. As the day is slowly swallowed by the evening breeze, parents walk with their children by the sea, where the air carries stories and laughter. Malé, a city that never sleeps, yet never forgets its soul, and at its heart stands a timeless symbol of faith, the old Friday Masjid, where the story of devotion begins. In the heart of Malé, a coral sanctuary stands the old Friday Masjid. More than coral and craft, it is a story carved by faith and preserved by time. Built upon the sacred ground where Islam first reached the Maldives in 1153 CE, the first masjid was commissioned by Sultan Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the island's first Muslim ruler. Centuries later, under Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar I in 1656, a new Friday Masjid rose from the same site and was completed in 1658, each reconstruction layering devotion upon devotion, never moving from its sacred earth.
So Hukuru Miskiy was the modern building you see was first built, started building in 1656. It was completed in 1658.
The ocean provided what the land could not. Coral stone, once alive beneath the waves, now transformed into walls that carry the prayers of centuries. Long before coral, the earliest masjids were built in timber and thatch, humble shelters that gave way to stone as the island's devotion deepened. Each block was quarried from living reefs, soaked and sun-dried, carved into intricate forms and joined without mortar, an art form unique to the Indian Ocean. The 17th century marked a new era of Islamic craftsmanship in the Maldives, when coral met calligraphy and geometry shaped faith. Each feature marked a new chapter. The Munaru or minaret, inspired by Sumara, Iraq, completed in 1674, and the southern gateway that became the first Quranic school, built in 1676 but removed in 1963, both remind us that knowledge and worship once stood side by side.
The minaret you see there, it was built in 1668. After 20 years of the Sultan's reign, it was built. After the Hajj prayers, Hajj pilgrimage, he came back and he built a minaret. And also he built a gate to the mosque. It is not there anymore. The gate was a traditional Maldivian gate, said 2 seats on both sides, seating where a scholar will sit there and teach children Quran and fiqh and basic Islamic things.
From coral walls to carved gates, the Old Friday Masjid stands as a timeline in stone, telling of sultans, scholars, and the sea that shaped their faith. The Old Friday Masjid stands as a masterpiece of Maldivian heritage, where Islamic artistry, local craftsmanship, and South Asian influences unite in harmony. It is richly adorned with coral stone carvings, lacquered timber, and delicate ornamentation, a reflection of faith, identity, and skill. Unlike the later Grand Friday Masjid built in 1984 with concrete and marble, Hukuru Miskiy preserves the earlier tradition of coral and timber craftsmanship. Beside the masjid rises the minaret of Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar's time. Its circular tower bears its emblem, and around it the call to prayer is carved, words of azan preserved in stone for centuries. Within the same compound rests the royal tomb, cemetery, a sacred space where sultans, nobles, and scholars lie beneath intricately carved coral tombstones, each inscribed with Arabic verses and prayers. The masjid's roof is built in graceful tiered layers, a form that uplifts the spirit and cools the space within. Through its clerestory openings, soft daylight filters in, while sea breezes move gently across the prayer hall. Compared to the single hall form of the Malé Eid Masjid, Hukuru Miskiy's tiered roof and raised platform reflect a more complex and ceremonial spatial hierarchy. The exterior walls, crafted from interlocked coral stones without mortar, stand as proof of ancient precision and enduring strength. On them, carvings of ropes and knots recall Maldivian seafarers, while the door motif symbolizes Islam as the path to life, the very keystone of the structure.
So the rope and the knot is used in symbolic manners in all maritime cultures.
Hukuru Miskiy's coral block construction indicates greater royal investment and craftsmanship in comparison to the travelling masjid's 1789 vernacular timber form. Inside, the prayer hall glows with carved wooden beams and lacquered panels, detailed with inscriptions that honor both God and craftsmanship. Surrounding verandas extend the space for Friday prayers, creating a seamless blend between devotion and community. The Old Friday Masjid remains a living heritage, adapting through time, yet forever holding the soul of Malé. Beneath its calm exterior, the Old Friday Masjid is a masterpiece of interlocking craft, where coral stone and timber hold each other in perfect balance. The foundation of the Old Friday Masjid begins with a raised plinth of massive coral stone blocks. These blocks were cut, dressed, and interlocked directly on leveled ground, forming a shallow but stable foundation system perfectly adapted to the island's geology. Hukuru Miskiy stands on a coral-based platform that distributes weight across the soft, sandy soil. Its elevation protects the masjid from flooding and monsoon rains, allowing the structure to survive for more than 360 years. Above the foundation, the coral stone walls rise in interlocking layers, built using hirigaluvadan or coral stone carpentry. These walls use a load-bearing wall system where they support the weight of the roof and structure without depending on the mortar. Instead, every block is fitted with such precision that only hairline joints appear between them.
The wall system is basically first is a wall and beam construction, or it's not post and beam. So they are integrated load-bearing walls.
At the upper levels, timber lintels, frames, and beams are inserted into the coral walls using the same interlocking method, creating a hybrid structural system where coral stone carries the load and timber helps stabilize and distribute it. Resting on the coral walls is a sophisticated timber roof structure. Heavy hardwood beams crafted from teak and coconut timber span across the hall, forming the primary support for the roof. These beams are connected using traditional carpentry, including multi-tenon joints, wooden pegs, and notched intersections, with no metal nails involved. This method allows the structure to flex slightly during strong winds and monsoon storms. Above the beams, lighter rafters form the steep tiered roof, originally covered in palm thatch and later replaced with tiles and corrugated sheets.
All the tropical countries you will find very low roof, overhanging big because you need protection from the driving rain and the sun.
It is believed that the Old Friday Masjid was the first masjid in Malé. Many assume it was the earliest and imagined it to be a small structure.
Right? But it is the biggest coral stone mosque you would find anywhere in the world.
As the interviews clarified the truth, it was not the first, and in reality, it is the largest coral masjid in the world. Here, every generation finds its place. The young come to learn, the old come to remember, yet both answer the same call. Even today, as the city grows busier and its streets fill with new voices, Fridays remain a sacred pause in Malé's rhythm. Men perform wudu at the wells, the scent of coral and salt in the air. Others sit beneath the shade, reciting verses before the call to prayer. When the adhan echoes, rows upon rows fill the hall, a sea of devotion flowing through stone, unchanged by time. As the sun sets upon the coral walls, light reveals what time cannot erase, faith carved into stone, and unity shaped through craft. In a city undergoing rapid urban growth, the Coral Masjid stands fragile yet firm, reminding us that heritage is not just to be seen, but to be protected. The question remains, how do we preserve what the ocean once built?
But I think given that it is a very old structure, so the maintaining and the preservation of the mosque is the main challenge.
In the scattered islands of the Maldives, history lives not only in stories but in stone. From ancient beliefs to the arrival of Islam, from the rise of Malé to the royal legacy of the Old Friday Masjid, each chapter shaped a nation. The Old Friday Masjid stands as a testament, coral drawn from the sea, timber shaped by hand, inscriptions echoing centuries of devotion. More than a monument, it is a memory that endures, a reminder that heritage is not the past left behind, but the past carried forward.